This is Dr. Chris, our YouTube channel, with another exciting movie review from the Blonde in Front of Fear with Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Hey, boils and ghouls, it is the Blonde in Front of Fear here, telling you about Godzilla, King of the Monsters, directed by Michael Dougherty and starring Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Ken Watanabe, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Look, the list goes on and on. This is a star-packed film. Now, it is a sequel-esque of the 2014 Godzilla that was directed by Gareth Edwards, showing a flashback from 2014 and then picking up 5 years later. Look, the first cry and look of Godzilla is spectacular. You get that in the first, minute, maybe 2 minutes, but I'm thinking even first, maybe even 30 seconds, and it will give you full-blown body chills. Now, Chandler and Farmiga play a divorced couple who lost their son during the Godzilla emergence in 2014 and have a daughter, Madison, played by Millie Bobby Brown. Both parents did work for the Monarch Company, a big multi-continent independent government-funded or something kind of thing that monitors, holds, keeps tabs on the monsters / Titans.
They were introduced, by the way, in the King of the Monster movie, originally led by John Goodman. They are government-funded.
Yes, but then I know in this one the government's trying to control them, so it's kind of, depending on how you see it, which part the government is dealing with them and stuff. But there's a funny machine that Farmiga develops to control the monsters in a way, waking them up, and then, lo and behold, Tywin Lannister, a.k.a. Charles Dance, comes in, takes the machine and the ladies, and they go on a world adventure to wake up the Titans. They're in Antarctica, Mexico, Boston, all over the place, and they wake them up, like Zed says, to wake up the Gimp in Pulp Fiction. Why are they waking him up to destroy the world? We don't know. But then we find out, and yeah. So here's a good thing about this film. The monster fights! Ghidorah is fan-frickin-tastic. Mothra is amazing. The CGI is pretty spectacular, and the music is fantastic by Bear McCreary. Here's the not great thing about this film. The humans, the actors, but I'm not blaming it on their performances, rather the circumstances they're in and the repercussions that befall them. There's so many actors in this film that I honestly did not realize that one of the actresses died until the credits, because I realized, was that her in Antarctica? Oh, that was very non-climactic, and she seemed like she was in the one in 2014, so that's kind of a bummer.
Are you talking about are you talking about the woman from The Shape of Water?
Yeah, Sally Hawkins.
Yeah, I don't think she was in the 2014 movie unless I blinked and I missed her. But Ken Watanabe was a big part of the 2014 movie.
He was, and I checked the credits, and she was in the 2014. But apparently there was, I don't know, there's a clause, or maybe it's because it's PG-13, that when building falls or certain amounts of giant, massive things of radiation, that there's absolutely no blood on these people. There's an entire building that falls on one of the actresses, and she wakes up, and there's not even a scratch on her. Someone gets within a few feet of one of the Titans with the radioactivity that would have been emoting from the monster. His eyes would have burned out before he even stepped that close, and yet everybody's fine. That is neat. And there's also the fact that, there's a scene where it's obviously Atlantis that is being destroyed, and it seems like no one really cares that this is a major archaeological find, but again, it's all about the monsters. And despite having all of these cities that have giant titans that are asleep in them, they apparently have no warning systems that can give them even a day that these things are waking up. I would have thought that would have been something that maybe these cities that are housing these things would have kind of maybe said, hey, if you're going to, look, you can have these giant monsters, that's fine, but you guys need to give us at least a day if something's going to happen. Apparently not. But the biggest gripe I have is the big reveal of why this is happening and why they're waking up the monsters, because honestly, it is the same thing that was done in a 2014 film, and I could be wrong, but I believe it is word for word, which was very disappointing and repetitive and unoriginal. But in short, go for the monsters. I mean, this is all about the monsters. It's called Godzilla King of the Monsters, not humans, king of the things that are destroying the planet. Go for the monsters, not for the humans, except for Bradley Whitford. I love you, and you can do no wrong. And I would say this is a cheers for fear.
I said Monarch. I think hopefully I said earlier in this review. I said King Kong. I was worried I said Godzilla. Or I repeated myself and said Godzilla. But Monarch did first appear in the King Kong movie that had Loki and Captain Marvel and Nick Fury and the Marvel All-Star cast fighting King Kong. Unfortunately, this movie has not done very well, and the release date for Kong vs. Godzilla has been pushed back, but that movie has been filmed, or is in the middle of being filmed. And this is also, unfortunately, a big blow to Michael Dougherty as well, because he was coming off the success of Krampus. That was a very, pretty well-received movie and a studio success financially. And this was supposed to be his tentpole to get his Trick or Treat 2 made finally, but I don't know what the status of that is, for him. Michael Dougherty is one of those directors that has had a great career in Hollywood. Love or hate Superman Returns, he helped write that, and he helped write X2, X-Men United. Katie, what are you doing?
Michael Dougherty also did a possibly little-known but amazing 30-second bunny theaters where he does various, there's movies that are done by bunnies, like cartoon bunnies, and they're done in 30 seconds, like the entire films. They are incredible. And once I found out that he did that, I will watch anything that he does.
I really recommend the new Godzilla movie. I know the human characters aren't great, but I'm also a little biased. What city and what famous stadium is flattened by the United States military, Godzilla, and King Ghidorah in the final battle?
Boston, and it's where the Red Sox play.
Yep. I never saw so many hashtag Red Sox Fenway Park destroyed tweets, Godzilla destroys Fenway, people, Hollywood hates Boston, or, some weird, mesh of tweets or whatever when that movie came out. And I was wondering, oh no, what happens in this movie, until I went and saw it, and sure enough, you get to see Fenway Park, or, the movie's version of Fenway Park being flattened by Godzilla and King Ghidorah. But I do love that moment where Godzilla goes charging into battle against King Ghidorah, and the United States military is flying right behind him, helping him out.
Oh yeah, they've got G's back. That's for sure.
Yeah, they know. I mean, that scene where they're underwater and they see Godzilla swimming at them. That's something. And like Ken Watanabe is like, we think we control him. He knows what's up.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a giant monster, and the film also has some issues. Like, Godzilla is huge. He also isn't so big that when he gets out when he stands up in the middle of the ocean, like, what is he supposed to be standing on? Like, he's not 1,200 feet tall. I mean, he's a big monster and stuff like that. But there are certain parts of the film where it's like, so the ocean is pretty deep, and you just have him standing up like he's in a wading pool. That's not how nature works. But I mean, they also have the whole fact that that's not how science works. That's not how many things work. So, I mean, again, go for the monsters. If you love Godzilla, if you love these monsters, you will not be disappointed. I say also see it in IMAX, because that is a great way to get that sound when they are freaking crying at each other. Those big ol' howls of force and ready to bring it on. But yeah, they've got some good CGI. Like, Mothra is one of the best things I have seen in a film probably in the past decade. And full chills for all those kids. King Ghidorah, woof. You got me going. And Godzilla, again, from the first, when you first hear that cry, even if you're not a fan, you're probably going to be into it after that. So I say see it.
And other than the one rando Muto and Kong, who we only saw the back of, a lot of the monsters in the movie, besides the classic Japanese ones, were all created for the movie. But again, I don't not recommend this movie. Go see it if you love kaiju movies. Don't read the reviews of it. You know, they're all kind of mixed. I really enjoyed this movie more than the 2014 version. Go check it out. Check out the rest of the videos here, the Radio Horror YouTube channel, as well as on Katie's site, theblondeinfront.com, and be back more here in the next couple weeks for other summer horror movie reviews. Thanks, everybody.